Hello everyone, E here. Welcome to yet another LEGO Hogwarts update. As usual, looking forward to your comments based on all the new things I'm about to show you in this latest video. Let's get to it. Alright, well actually I have spent a lot of time building this time around, and let's try to cover all of it. Now over here you can already see the situation of the old gatehouse, and it seems like something out of a horror film. Actually, it might be a bit dangerous the way it's standing. Might even fall down. But yeah, I have basically taken parts from here as I was building upwards, just so I can save myself some sorting later on. But basically, this is where we are right now. And yeah, it's just the roof pretty much remaining. Well, not only the roof, we need to do the frame here, also the clock portion, and then a few other details, but that will all go down probably next time. So let's actually start with all the little details that are now present compared to last time, and as usual share some additional thoughts as I'm showing you everything. Let's start with the first change is the inward stairs. So over here on both sides I have added texture, which I decided to be the same as the outer stairs. Now this might be a bit of a problem if I ever do what I decided to try out, to replace these light bluish gray plates and just make the that portion dark tan and leave these light bluish and dark bluish gray detailings. But maybe if I try to do that, I will just change the outer stairs and the in stairs will just remain with a light bluish gray base. But yeah, important thing to say that I added this detailing. Over here we have the module extracted from the base, and you can see the stairs continuing over here. The difference from before is that we have this upward going roof or ceiling, which means that a minifig can easily walk upwards without its head being hit. We have that on both sides, and the pattern also continues. Now I have built up to here, which is the both front pillars. I have added the initial texture, which actually took quite a bit long time. I added the windows, and compared from what it was before, I have the inwards here open for the time being. Before we had a row of windows on the front and a row of windows on the back. So when you look from outside, you can see on the other window on the other side instead of just a wall. But this time around I decided to do something else. I leave this open, but over here we will have this sliding kind of a drawer on both sides, which will let me hide some minifigs or some other stuff inside and have a complete wall over here. I have not done that yet, but I have prepared over here with tiling, and basically it will be a nice place to hide, well, miniature version of Easter eggs. And yeah, this is quite solid. Still, I can pick it up, not with one hand because I will probably drop it. One thing I wanted to share before I place this back over here, so you can see it properly in its slot, is this space here. I was really considering to put an Easter egg here because it felt like a good place to store something, especially seeing that one of the Easter eggs from before, the Dexter little diorama, doesn't have a place right now because it used to be stored here when this portion of the roof was not module, but now it is, and it has lights inside. It needs to be hollow, and yeah, this seemed like a good place to hide it. But I really wanted to, I almost actually took everything apart and wanted to carve a little hole here for the Easter egg, but then it was really important for this to be solid as we have a lot of construction here. It will be heavy, and it's not like it wouldn't work, it would, but I really like the solid construction. It would waste quite a bit of time to take it apart, and well, I can always find a different place to hide an Easter egg. Really preferred for this to be solid because we have some hollow sections here and here. So I'd much rather to have this whole row of, what is it, like 6-7 bricks to be solid. So let's place this back into its slot and continue. So here it is. I have not slid it actually into its slot here, just because I wanted to show how the stairs look when they are attached now, this portion to this side and the portion on this module. It looks obviously quite natural, as it should be. A little bit of light for you to see. Same on both sides. So now with one hand I will place these modules back here, and hopefully I'll be able to slide it back into its slot really easily without really wasting much time. Okay, over here we're good, and over here I feel like we're also good. There we go. So this is the way it is. Now I also did some changes on this module here, because before we had these type of pieces here, the 1x2s, to attach the doors, but as I talked last time, the doors will be a little bit different. I will try to implement them inside of the walls instead of the hinges being on the outside. This way it means we have room for this module to hit against this wall properly, as it should. Now, one thing that I was talking about is the different design that I was trying to make here and there. Now, over here we have, well, obviously these pillars with these bars. I mean, for them to be in tan, they just have not arrived yet. But this is basically the design which we will see. A plate, and then we'll have these cylindric pieces, then a bar, same piece inverted, and then another 1x1 that is not really connected over here, but it's just hitting the roof. It just means that it is mirrored on the bottom side, which is what it really should be when you look at all the pictures. But yeah, we'll have the bars here in tan and everything will be fine, which I feel will be a big improvement compared to, well, this also looks fine, but this really offers a lot more detailing. Same thing with these little towers. I mentioned last time that I pushed the towers one stud to the left and right respectively to make more room for this texture, and also because before they were really right next to the pillars on both sides, and that's wrong, which means actually this entryway is now only 8 studs instead of 10, but that's fine. And these towers are also a little bit different. I tried to add some texture. Now over here you can see I use the 1x2s with these textures on the inside that are horizontal and vertical. I use the vertical ones because that's what the pictures show, and it's a combination of what it was, this idea over here that is used for all these towers, a similar variation. That way really we are being more close to what it should be, and also it brings more detail. Over here we'll have no detailing for the time being other than this piece here, which I will probably remove just to remind me that we can place some texture here. It will probably not be this piece, but maybe I'll put a crest there or just some more kind of a not so obvious piece. Now over here is one thing that I'm still thinking about, because this is exactly the same piece that I use for these kind of pillars going upwards, which connect into these arches. Now I was planning to use a candle piece in tan, but that causes its own problems. I will probably still order some candle pieces when I see them, but the candle pieces will mean that it will have to reflect on the backward wall. So this will be visible, this will be visible, and over here we don't have any wall behind, which means that might be a bit of a problem. Obviously I can put another wall behind here, so that's not an issue, but still I feel like this is fine. Maybe the candles will be a bit better, but I'm not too sure. It's just something that I've been considering and might try out, as these candles are, well, not very expensive. I'll probably have to buy maybe 100 of them, maybe 150 to cover all this space, but still I feel like it's worth trying. If I don't use them here because I don't like it after I buy them, I will use them someplace else. Also, you might notice here the arches, which are 3 levels that are kind of overlapping and going gradually lowering. These half circles are a bit different. Before we had these other pieces, which is one big piece over here on the old version, and now we have these other arches that are half and half. Now the other ones was a little bit more accurate, but over here, since I shortened the width here by 2 studs, it means the old one will not work, as now the one that is on the back will be a little bit wider than this space is. So it meant I had to change this. This is still fine. One other change that I have done is that this portion before was very high. It was too high. Now I have lowered it a little bit, which will be better and more close to the original model, the original idea of the castle that I'm trying to replicate, which means the clock will be around here, and which means we have this kind of space kind of between the top spire here and the beginning of the clock. Also, the way the clock is implemented will be a bit different, and also I will have a different combination of pieces to make this gatehouse part with the bars instead of just one big piece, which again we're going to try to avoid wherever possible. Next up, the windows. This window is identical in shape and size and model to all these other windows here that we have, and the model is pretty much the same. The size is the same. The beginning over here is the same level as all of them, and also the end. The coloration is the same. The design is the same. You can see it in my previous videos where I talk about the windows. And basically this way that it's done is trapped. Maybe I can show you over here in the inside. Basically we have a gap, really, as you can see over here. We have a 1 part gap somewhere around here. We have 1 stud that is carved, and that means that this whole construction is stuck inside and doesn't even have place to move, which is great, which is something not done here because we have pillars, and over here the windows is different, but you can see that all that in the previous videos when I'm talking about the windows. But I was really happy that I managed to implement the same design a little bit differently in correspondence to the situation. So very nice. And also that means that I will not have the need to place any kind of fake supports in the backside just to make sure the window doesn't fall when you push it. This way it's kind of, its hinges are stuck inside the walls here, inside this pillar, 1 stud, which means yeah, really great. And that will allow me to place these minifigs Easter eggs in here, which I'll probably do next time. Next up, these towers, which I did. Now, in all the pictures, for some odd reason, we have these towers like this, where we have basically a wall inside or some rock work. But on these front ones, we have the same on the bottom one, but on the top one, they're hollow. So I was wondering what to do, and I decided, okay, let's make them hollow. But in order for this to be attached, because over here this is not attached in any way, I used trans clear cylinders to just represent that there is nothing there and still connect this top piece to the bottom piece. Other than that, the design is absolutely the same as over here. Nothing really different. Also, one thing that I did is these braziers on the front. We have 1 brazier per column, and before they used to be like so, and they were not movable in any way. But in every picture that I see, these braziers are kind of, or torches, I don't know what you want to call them, are kind of, they're not vertical, not exactly. They are kind of like this, tilted a little bit. So I want to do that, and I was thinking how exactly to do it without much pieces. And even though I figured out a way, which is what you see right now, I thought, actually, do I want to do that? Because then the fire should be, it should be horizontal. It shouldn't be like this. But how can you do that without really bending the brazier, the black piece? So you can either have a more realistic one like this, or something that is a bit more closer to the original idea like this, but then the fire looks kind of weird to me. So I don't know. I ended up implementing it anyway. So if I decide that I don't really like it, I can always do this. But yeah, there we go. This fell apart as I'm really trying to show you. But the idea is that you can have it both ways, kind of. In my opinion, still, this is a little bit better because everything in Lego is kind of a bit stale sometimes. Angles are difficult. So wherever you can implement some kind of a weird, non-standard motion or angles, you should really do it. Really kind of brings more life to your build. So even though the fire, looking at it like this, will annoy me, I will probably keep it like so. Further on, all the texture here, the first line was added. Obviously need to add everything else, but that will be one of the last things I do. What I'll be doing next time is, well, everything else. From the clock portion, I'm already redoing schematics and deciding exactly what to do with the roof, because before the roof was too high. And also, yeah, I can show you on the old version since I'm kind of still keeping it. The pattern here in the way it was, I didn't like it to begin with. The pattern here is like this. It means that the pattern should be like this as well. Here we have a brick and a slope. And here we have, well, something completely different. So I'm going to try to do this, but over here, while at the same time really keeping the roof part not so high. This tower needs to be in a way that the top portion of the roof should hit kind of about here, but that means it will be too steep. So I will probably end up moving this tower a little bit, which is fine because as it is right now, it's kind of too far down compared to most pictures I see. I mean, it's fine, but there is a bit of a leeway, so I can move it to maybe 2 bricks upwards, which will create the needed space, and we'll have the roof somewhere around here, and that will be a bit here. There'll be this distance between one and the other, which is fine. So I kind of have it figured out in a way how to do it, but I'm still experimenting before I actually start building it. So after that is done and the clock here is placed, I will see what exposed parts are left that is not really being hidden by the roof, and then add texture accordingly, similar to what I did on the other side. So all this will be taken apart really, and I will remove all these pieces and place texture pieces, and I'll place texture. And talking about texture, I also already changed a little bit over here and on the other side to correspond with the already built texture. You can see over here, I really wanted this to blend, so I created some damaged portions on both sides, like here, 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 over here, and similar on the other side as well. I really try to do it a little bit, not go overboard. I still think that maybe over here there is just too much damage, but I really feel like one section like that should be fine, but I didn't want to go overboard with that. So it was really important to spend some time and make this kind of as good as it could be for these pieces to blend together. So over here you can see how this kind of goes gradually, bends over here to this module, then into this module, and goes all the way. So I really try to do that everywhere as good as possible, really. I mean, it can never be completely perfect, but I like the way it is. It feels very natural to me. So yeah, that took some time and patience, but in the end, the result is good. One thing that worries me about this whole escapade is this tower. Over here, I use this basic piece, so this whole thing is one piece, which I will try to, well, go away from that because we need more detailing. But I remember when I was initially trying to replace it at some point, it didn't happen because it was too... Doing it with bricks means that it will be too big. Over here you can see 3 studs, and then we're curving. But over here it's 2 studs. And if it's 3, it means it's a bit too big for this. And seeing that this pyramid shape will be a little bit not so wide because it's shortened by 2 studs, it means that even now it'll be even worse. So I'm not really sure exactly what to do because we need space for a window. We need kind of... It needs to be 3 studs, really. The reason I used the other piece was because we were cheating. We still got the gap without it being 3 pieces. And I really think that if I just place this piece, this terrible, ugly panel, it will look terrible. But yeah, that's a problem for the future. One of the last things that I will place is that tower, but still, it's a concern that eats me. We'll probably have to think quite a bit how to solve that, because we can't have these towers have some texture and have this model. The front tower should be similar to them, if not almost identical, just smaller. But not sure that will be easy to do. But yeah, that is all I did. It took me actually quite a bit of time. I managed to save some opportunities to actually build quite a lot. It involved a lot of going back and forth, a lot of planning to accommodate the texture, to accommodate the window, trial and error to figure out the good way to make these textures here. And yeah, all in all, I'm quite pleased with the end result. So yeah, next time I'm hoping to almost finish this. I am kind of skeptical whether all the remaining things will be finished, but I will try to do the roof all the way up till the end and close everything out, maybe put some texture. I don't know, depends how much time I have. But yeah, now when you look at this thing from afar, it looks starting to look pretty good. It's been so long since this front section was actually here, but yeah, I feel like the end result will be pretty good, especially with the roof pattern being like this, not something completely different. And yeah, I think that is all I can say for the time being. I feel like the time spent during these 2 weeks was justified. So like usual, if you like what I'm doing and if you like this type of content is your thing, you like to follow this project, please consider subscribing and smashing that like button and leave down a comment, no matter whether it is positive or, well, negative. I'm open to all sorts of feedback. Other than that, I feel like, yeah, we'll see each other in the next 2 weeks as usual. I try to post in between equal intervals. Happy building, stay healthy, and yeah, we'll see me very, very soon once again with more progress on the Hogwarts Castle. Bye for now.